What if you could grow revenue without risk? With the SIFT Digital Trust and Safety Suite and our Magento extension, you can. Available now in the Magento marketplace, SIFT not only unlocks industry-leading fraud prevention, but fuels hypergrowth. Our real-time machine learning delivers unparalleled accuracy, so you can reduce fraud by 80% or more, even as trends change. Accept more orders, stop fraud, and grow your business in just a few clicks. It's that simple with SIFT, the leader in digital trust and safety.
And welcome back, everybody. How was that virtual coffee? Was it good for you? I'm really enjoying mine. It is my pleasure at this point to introduce Alex Lejeune and Tariq Zhaowa. Alex is the Magento technical lead for ComWrap, and Tariq is the senior software architect for Adobe. Alex joined the company in 2015. In the last 12 years of working with Magento, he developed, led, and launched numerous Magento projects. As Magento community maintainer, Magento DevDocs maintainer, Magento master in 2019 and 2020. He works with passion and love on various Magento community projects. He says the more complex, the better, and to provide tailored solutions to the digital challenges of e-commerce customers. Now, Tariq has over 15 years of software engineering and leadership experience, including hands-on experience with various architectures and system design patterns, for instance, SaaS, DDD microservices, API management, gateways, event sourcing, data streaming, machine learning, ETL, full stack, and SOA. That is a mouthful. I am thrilled to introduce Alex and Tariq. Guys, take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thanks a lot for introduction. I always love to hear about myself. Our today's topic is potential queuing system for asynchronous Magento. And let's roll it out. I'll skip the slides and go for introduction. Very informative. So first of all, Magento Message Queue Framework. What is it about? Originally popped in Magento 2.0. It was part of the B2B, basically of the commerce. But it were used only in B2B, and also many developers know about this. I honestly found out that there is such framework close before 2.3 release. Despite we work with B2B quite intensively. Then it was become available in Magento open source 2.3.0. Thanks for the Magento community project that migrated the framework commerce to open source. And basically, what is it about? It's a message queue framework, which working with messaging on Magento, so which take responsibility for synchronous operations execution. And currently, it supports database and RabbitMQ queuing database that self-developed system for Magento by Magento. For fulfill the low-level requirements to have system up and running, be able to use the message queue without complex infrastructure, available and RabbitMQ is like one of the most popular message queuing systems available. That's why the support for them was on the first place. And what we want to talk today about? We want to talk a little bit about which potential solution we also can implement with Magento and with Message Queue Framework. And I understand that every developer I can implement everything. I can write a lot of tons of code will do what I need to do. Our goal today to have a solution which will follow the Magento standards, and it requires minimal customization as possible by using the Magento framework, Queue interface with the Queue interface available on Magento Message Queue Framework, which takes responsibility for the working with the queues. That's how it looks like. So we have a queue interface which have five main methods, which the queue and knowledge, subscribe, reject, and those are proposed to work with the queue and will cover. Cannot select all requirements that pop up, but at the moment of the writing of it, and currently it's covered almost all of them. And if you go a little bit more in detail, just what each of those methods do, we have a DQ just getting a single message from the queue, so then you can work with it, then you can work with it, process as you want to. We have a knowledge, message delivery. We have a subscribe, that's a method which waits for messages and basically waiting for them. So which is subscribing to some queue, for example, and waiting for messages appear on the queue, and then waiting until messages appear on the queue, and then executing some action. We have a reject, and the message gets returned back to the queue. And we have a push, so it's basically the push message directly to the queue without exchange. Those five methods were originally also based on RabbitMQ integration. For them, were written the database integration. And I told before, the database is basically self-written. But the main goal that both of them, current existing ones, are using this interface, and the diagram for it looks approximately like this. We have a queue interface, then we have MySQL adapter, who is basically named driver queue, which implemented the communication with tables and managing all the statuses of the messages and so on. Then we have RabbitMQ, which is a little bit more complex because at this point we need not only database connection, we need also RabbitMQ connection. So in this case, already implements different methods of interface like MMQF, then config for the connection, for the getting configuration, then abstract connection, and then also using PHP lib, which is taking care of all communication within the RabbitMQ itself. Those are currently existing in Magento Message Queue Framework, and then let's have a look shortly on queuing landscape. And what can be implemented? We took currently here seven technologies or message queues available on the market, which basically I heard a lot of feedback that one or another of them to be implemented by let's say our customers or some merchants who building some more complex infrastructure. So we covered AWS Event Bridge, AWS SQS, Kinesis, Apache Kafka, most popular one, Azure Service Bus, and Adobe Io. So we try to have a look inside, have a look if they are ready to use existing queue framework, which require not so big customizations to implement this interface, and we'll proceed to work with them. So to group basically those technologies together, there are some criteria, so use cases where one or another of them can be used. That's basically have to be the portable system, or support the standard-based protocol. So basically, for example, like Kafka, which is widely used and quite popular. We have the system with high throughput and data streaming. So we have a like one of the important requirements is a live data streaming or real-time data streaming, and require really high throughput. So for quite complex system, we have serverless and rule-based event streaming routing systems, like for example Adobe Io, and Tariq will tell you a little bit more in details about this, because it's as you can read from the name, it's basically part of Adobe. So you can imagine that this system will be or plan to be quite tightly used with Magento together for message queue communications. And then we have like inter-service communication or microservices, which is, I guess, self-explanatory here. And then we have also third-party connectivity and extensibility. Azure Service Bus and Amazon MQ. We have high throughput data streaming systems, which are Kafka and Amazon Kinesis. We have serverless and rule-based event routing. So in this case, there's an Amazon Event Bridge, Apache OpenFisk, and Adobe Io. We have microservice systems, which are Azure Service Bus, Kafka, Kinesis, and Amazon MQ, and third-party connectivity and extensibility. In our case, it was only Adobe Io. So we took it especially to our research as part of Adobe ecosystem. And yeah, let's look shortly about the programming language support. As Magento is PHP-based system, we are quite interested if also communication on a PHP level is possible with those technologies. Also, we took in account the Java, like one of the most popular systems. And let's say for Amazon Event Bridge, we have PHP supported and Java supported. So basically everywhere using of the PHP, which is quite important for us, it's possible. We have only some, maybe not any issues, but we have workarounds that have to be used for the using for AWS, Amazon MQ, and Azure Service Bus. But that's basically not a showstoppers. Yeah, and at this point, I will move it forward to Tariq, which will give you the overview of the systems which are currently existed. Yeah, Tariq.
Hey, thank you very much. So basically, the methodology for this particular research was to look at each of these systems, first group them as Alex was talking about, and then based on the different use cases where we can use. And then looking at the interface of Magento queuing system. So we don't want to break the existing connectivities, existing systems as well. So that's why we looked at from those both perspectives. And if you can see that here, some of the systems are totally very different as compared to what Magento requirements is and what RabbitMQ was offering us. So for example, AWS Event Bridge and Adobe Io Events are kind of systems which are more they're not connected as a typical queuing system like a pub/sub method, but they are more like a delivery-based mechanism and serverless kind of system. You can deliver the messages, and then it can deliver the at the other end the subscribers of those messages. You know, they can have that delivered on the webhooks or some functions that I will explain a little bit in this talk as well. So then the other ones are like AWS MQ and Kafka, which are more like a portable systems, which do supports like JMS, AMQP, and these kind of protocols. And similar, I'm saying portable in a sense that it is not tied to a particular cloud infrastructure. Like it's not just only available like AWS SQS or Kinesis, which is like AWS branded queuing systems. But at the same time, if you move to next slide, what we also did is we asked the community that what they want to use as their queuing systems. It looks like most of the people were interested in Kafka because it's very horizontally scalable and then fault tolerant and replicated, and it's available in any cloud. Like, I mean, if you go to Google Cloud, AWS, or Azure, or you have your own infrastructure, you can have Kafka everywhere, right? And so it's very widely used. So the methodology is like this. For each queuing interface method like DQ, acknowledge, subscribe, reject, and push, which Alex already talked about, I looked at what is the possibility of using that particular queuing system. For example, in this case, Kafka. And for example, for DQ, you will gonna use poll method or consume method. If there is some record, then it will gonna return immediately with the record. Otherwise, with the specific time, it will gonna time out. And that's how you can have this kind of a possibility there. If it's natively available, this kind of method, because in Kafka is not natively available, this kind of method. That's why its possibility is not like as is availability. The other thing is, if it's not available, maybe it's not totally possible, like in the case of Event Bridge and Adobe Io Events. So in Kafka, it's most of the these methods, acknowledge, subscribe, there is a possibility of how you can do that. For example, acknowledgement, Kafka, in Kafka, you have a kind of a offset for your topic that you maintain when you are navigating or using a particular topic as a consumer. So as a consumer, you maintain your own offset. So that's why that's how it will gonna work. So I will not go into too much detail. I will gonna share the link of this research. So for each queuing system, if you'll even move forward to SQS, there is a possibility, and there is a details on how you can use and implement that method. So whoever will be interested, and we are thinking more gravitating towards Kafka to implement this. But for each of these systems like AWS SQS and AWS MQ and Azure Service Bus and Kafka, we've defined that, how you can use that and what will be the possibility and what are the workarounds if you need to do anything. Can you move to the next slide? So this is the summary of describing all of that where is the possibility, where is not the possibility. The another exciting thing that I want to discuss with you is this is the PHP libraries also, but these are the abstraction layers that you can use, and they also support all of these libraries. But if you need more flexibility, that you can use the research to implement a specific queuing system. Can you move ahead also 2 slides, one more? Yeah, so one of the things I want to discuss is Adobe Io Events that will be integrating with. So it's again subscription-based mechanism, and it's already exposes a lot of events from Adobe Analytics, Creative Cloud, Experience Manager, and Experience Platform. So the beauty of that is that it can deliver events to your endpoint rather than you polling or you making an infrastructure to basically go back to the queue and maintain all the where you left and what have you read or what you have not read. You can it can deliver the messages to you. And if you have any failure or you want to do a kind of a batch loading, then it also offers event journaling where you can go back in time and load the messages in batch form, right? And this is the API first approach. You can go to the management console or you can use their APIs to integrate. So can you go next slide? So here's some more architecture that how it will look like. There on Magento Adobe Cloud, if you have a merchant cluster, each of the instance will be propagating events to Adobe Pipeline, which is a very highly available, globally distributed pipeline for a queuing system. And then it will gonna stream the data to Adobe Io Events. And from there, if you as a customer have subscribed to different kind of messages, for example, customer created or order placed or things like that, we're going to expose them and the interface of those events. You can subscribe them, and you can also tell that if you which URL you want to get this delivery for this particular event. So you directly your URL will be called. We are calling that webhook, which is a very common term. Similarly, you can also have serverless functions hosted on Adobe Io runtime, which can be living close to your cloud infrastructure, and we're going to make sure that the latency between Magento and that serverless function is much less as possible, and then basically whenever that event will happen, that serverless function can be called. So it's similar to Event Bridge or Event Grid from Azure, but it's very tightly integrated with Adobe infrastructure, Adobe products. So that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss. We can share with you the details of the on this page. So these are the much more details you can find for each particular queue, which you can integrate with. Thank you very much.
All right, fantastic job. Fantastic job, Tariq and Alex. I am looking in the QA portal of the platform, and I don't see any questions yet. I want to encourage everyone who's watching the presentation right now, if you want to engage with the speakers, go ahead and use the link there for Q&A and drop a question in. We've got about 5 minutes, and if we don't get a question here in the next couple of minutes, I am going to go ahead and thank and let our presenters go. And in this time, Alex and Tariq, any other insights about queuing systems that you wanted to share, that maybe you didn't get a chance to drop that knowledge in the presentation in the time that was allotted?
I think one of the things that was interesting, there's some PHP libraries that we looked at, including PHP InQ and PHP Symfony. And they have abstracted away a lot of different queuing systems. And you can use a very uniform interface to do interaction with those systems. So that is also another approach we can take in order to give multiple queuing system availability within Magento ecosystem. There could be some constraints there. That's why we did both ways. We did individual queuing system research that how you can integrate with it with existing Magento connectivity, or you can use this PHP interfaces or libraries.
Now, we do have a question from the audience here. Will Kafka run on Magento Cloud Platform in addition to Rabbit?
So that's something we are looking at actively. I think that's a possibility is there. And because the community really is demanding that. And as I said, it's one of the most, I think, highest one that we are looking at. So that's an extreme possibility there that we'll want to introduce something like that.
Fantastic. Looks like that was our last question. So I want to sincerely thank both of our presenters for your great work today. We look forward to the rest of the show, and I will be catching everyone on the next live feed. So have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to us.
Thank you very much.